Welcome to the documentary where Poland finally shows its wildest side. 21 bizarre, beautiful, and mind-twisting facts will take you deep into hidden deserts, frozen caves, and medieval legends. This is the Poland even locals don't fully know. Comment, like, and subscribe if you're ready for an adventure. The human-made desert of Poland. Poland is probably the last place you would expect to find a genuine desert, yet the Błędów Desert stretches across southern Poland as one of Europe's few true sand deserts. What makes it remarkable is that it was created not by nature, but by centuries of human mining activity that lowered the water table and exposed enormous layers of sand. At its peak, locals say winds were so strong that sandstorms could briefly lift small objects into the air. Today, the desert covers around almost 4 square miles, and although vegetation has slowly returned, it still looks strikingly barren. The area is used for hiking, paragliding, and even military training because its landscape resembles far more exotic regions. Many visitors describe it as one of Poland's most unexpected natural sights. Warsaw's reconstructed Old Town. Many visitors assume Warsaw's Old Town is a surviving medieval district, but in reality, it is one of the world's most extraordinary reconstruction projects. After the Second World War, more than 4/5 of Warsaw was reduced to rubble, including almost every building in the Old Town. Polish architects, artists, and historians rebuilt it brick by brick, using old paintings, photographs, and even 18th-century sketches to recreate its former look with astonishing accuracy. The royal castle, the townhouses, and the narrow streets were all reconstructed with such precision that UNESCO later granted the area World Heritage status explicitly for this achievement. Walking through it today feels authentic, yet it is a powerful reminder of how one nation rebuilt its cultural heart from total destruction. Poland's iconic European bison revival. The European bison, once the heaviest land animal on the continent, survived extinction largely because of Poland's conservation efforts. By the early 20th century, wild herds had disappeared, leaving only a small number of individuals in captivity. Polish scientists at the Białowieża Forest began an ambitious breeding program, carefully matching bloodlines and reintroducing animals into the wild. Their work succeeded so well that today several hundred bison roam freely in this ancient forest, and smaller herds live in other protected areas. Each adult male can weigh well over a ton, giving the species a powerful presence that tourists find unforgettable. The comeback of the European bison is considered one of Europe's greatest wildlife recovery stories, and Poland remains the main guardian of this remarkable animal. The ancient oak of Eastern Poland. Eastern Poland is home to one of Europe's oldest oak trees, a monumental giant known for its incredible age and size. This tree, often referred to as the Bartek oak, is estimated to be around 700 to nearly 1,000 years old, depending on the method used to date it. Its trunk is so wide that several adults can barely link hands around it, and its enormous branches once sheltered kings, knights, and countless travelers. Through storms, fires, and wars, the oak has remained a living witness to Polish history. Authorities have reinforced its limbs and protected its roots to ensure it survives for future generations. Standing beside it feels almost like meeting a living monument, a reminder of how deep Poland's natural heritage truly runs. The vanishing and returning lake. Poland has a mysterious karst lake that seems to appear and disappear depending on what happens underground. Known locally as the Vanishing Lake, it sits above a network of limestone channels that periodically drain or refill it. During dry periods, the water seeps through cracks and sinkholes, leaving only a muddy basin where visitors can walk across the lake bed. After heavy rains, the underground system becomes overwhelmed, and the lake suddenly reappears, sometimes within hours, returning to its full size as if nothing happened. This natural phenomenon has been observed for generations, and scientists still cannot perfectly predict when the lake will vanish again. The area has become a quiet attraction for hikers who find the sudden transformations almost surreal, as if watching nature perform its own disappearing act. The deepest underground church in the world. Hidden inside the Wieliczka salt mine lies an underground church unlike anything else on Earth. Carved entirely from rock salt by miners over many decades, the Chapel of St. Kinga sits more than 300 feet below the surface, making it one of the deepest continuously used churches in the world. Every detail, from the chandeliers to the altarpiece and even the floor tiles, was sculpted out of solid salt. The chapel is so large that it can host weddings, concerts, and religious ceremonies, all illuminated by the soft glow of salt crystal lighting. Walking inside feels surreal, as if you've entered a cathedral made of shimmering stone. This incredible creation shows how Polish miners blended craftsmanship, engineering, and devotion in a way few places can match. The largest castle in the world by land area. Poland is home to the Malbork Castle, a massive fortress built by the Teutonic Order in the 13th century, and it holds the title of the largest castle in the world by land area. Its walls, courtyards, towers, and multi-level defensive zones cover such an enormous space that exploring it often feels like walking through a small fortified town. The castle was designed to showcase the power and wealth of the Order, and its brick construction remains one of the greatest examples of medieval military architecture. Over centuries, it served as a headquarters, a royal residence, and even a Prussian barracks. Today, its vast halls and reconstructed chambers attract visitors from all over the world who are stunned by its scale. Few fortresses in Europe match its sheer size and historical depth. The city of hundreds of dwarves. In the city of Wrocław, tiny bronze dwarves have quietly taken over the streets, becoming one of Poland's most charming and unexpected attractions. What began as a tribute to an anti-communist movement from the 1980s has grown into a city-wide tradition, with well over 300 figurines scattered across sidewalks, windowsills, fountains, and even rooftops. Each dwarf has its own personality: firefighters, bakers, bankers, students, musicians, and even a wheelchair-using dwarf, promoting accessibility. Locals treat them as beloved mascots, while visitors turn the search for them into a playful treasure hunt through the old town squares and narrow streets. The dwarves reflect Wrocław's humor, creativity, and resilience, and they perfectly capture how Poland blends difficult history with light-hearted cultural expression. The crooked house that defies architecture. In the seaside town of Sopot stands one of Poland's most photographed buildings, the Crooked House, a surreal structure that looks as if it melted under the sun. Designed in the early 2004s, its warped walls, bending windows, and wavy roofline intentionally break every conventional rule of architecture. The building was inspired by fairy tale illustrations, and walking past it feels like stepping into a dreamlike cartoon. Despite its distorted shape, the structure is fully functional and houses cafes, shops, and offices. Tourists constantly stop to take photos because the visual illusion makes the house appear to move or ripple depending on the angle. The Crooked House has become a symbol of Sopot's playful character and shows how Poland can blend creativity with bold design choices. The village of painted, floral houses. In the small Polish village of Zalepie, almost every home is decorated with bright, hand-painted floral patterns that cover walls, fences, wells, and even doghouses. This tradition began more than a century ago when women painted flowers to cover smoke stains on their cottage walls, eventually turning the practice into our unique folk art style. Over generations, the designs became more detailed, featuring sprawling roses, tulips, and daisies in vivid colors. Today, villagers repaint the motifs every spring, keeping the tradition alive and transforming the entire village into an open-air art gallery. The annual Painted Cottage competition adds friendly rivalry and encourages even more creativity. Visitors describe Zalepia as a living postcard, where every corner reveals another burst of color and handmade beauty. The trumpet call that ends mid-note. In the historic city of Krakow, a lone trumpeter plays the Hejnał every hour from the highest tower of St. Mary's Basilica. What makes this melody unique is that it always ends abruptly, cut off mid-note without a proper finish. This tradition honors a medieval guard who, according to legend, sounded an alarm when enemy forces approached the city. He managed only half the tune before an arrow struck him in the throat, silencing the warning. To this day, the unfinished melody is broadcast live on national radio at midday, making it one of Poland's most recognizable cultural symbols. Tourists gather beneath the tower to watch the trumpeter appear in the window, continuing a tradition that connects present-day Poland with its centuries-old history. One of Europe's richest meteorite fields. Poland's Morasko Reserve, located just outside Poznań, is home to one of Europe's most impressive meteorite fields. Thousands of years ago, a group of iron meteorites slammed into the Earth, leaving behind several craters that can still be seen today. The largest crater spans more than 200 feet across, while the surrounding forest hides smaller impact sites filled with water and dense vegetation. Over the past century, researchers and enthusiasts have discovered numerous meteorite fragments here, including some weighing more than 300 pounds. These iron-rich pieces show clear patterns known as Widmanstätten lines, proving their extraterrestrial origin. The area is now a protected nature reserve where visitors can hike, explore the craters, and learn about the cosmic event that shaped this quiet part of Poland. The forest of mysteriously curved trees. In northwestern Poland lies the Crooked Forest, a small grove where nearly every pine tree bends sharply at the base before growing upward in a strange, uniform curve. Each trunk forms a smooth, almost perfect arc, as if the trees were shaped intentionally or pushed by an unseen force. Scientists have proposed several theories, from heavy snow pressure to unusual gravitational pull, but none fully explains why only this small cluster of trees grew this way while the surrounding forest remained normal. One popular idea suggests that foresters deliberately shaped the young pines in the 1930s to produce curved timber for furniture or shipbuilding, but evidence is still limited. Today, the grove attracts photographers, hikers, and researchers, all fascinated by its eerie symmetry and unanswered mystery. The gingerbread capital of old Europe. The Polish city of Toruń was once one of Europe's great centers of gingerbread making, producing famous spiced cakes that were traded across the continent. Medieval bakers guarded their recipes closely, mixing honey, cinnamon, cloves, and other precious ingredients brought by merchants along the Vistula River. These gingerbreads were so valuable that they were sometimes given as diplomatic gifts or shaped into elaborate molds representing kings, saints, and city emblems. Toruń's bakers gained such prestige that guilds enforced strict rules on quality, training, and production methods. Even today, visitors can watch traditional baking techniques and see centuries-old wooden molds displayed in local museums. The aroma of warm spice still fills the old town, keeping Toruń's culinary heritage alive and reminding travelers how this sweet craft shaped the city's identity. A city heated by natural geothermal power. In the Polish town of Podobice, an innovative heating system uses geothermal energy drawn from deep beneath the earth. Hot water, naturally warmed by underground volcanic activity, is pumped from wells more than a mile deep and distributed through the town's district heating network. This system provides warmth for homes, public buildings, greenhouses, and even recreational pools, dramatically reducing the town's reliance on coal or gas. The temperature of the geothermal water is so high that it can be used almost directly, requiring minimal additional processing. Local authorities highlight the project as one of Poland's most environmentally friendly energy solutions, proving that even small towns can embrace clean technology. Visitors often notice the unusually warm public buildings, a subtle reminder of the natural power flowing beneath their feet. The world's largest open-air wooden architecture museum. Poland is home to an enormous open-air museum that preserves traditional wooden homes, churches, barns, workshops, and entire village layouts. Located in Sanok, this vast heritage park showcases centuries of rural life from different ethnic groups, including Lemkos, Boykots, and Pogorzans. Visitors can walk through authentic wooden churches with shingled roofs, see old carpentry tools, and explore reconstructed farmsteads surrounded by orchards and gardens. Many of the buildings were carefully relocated from remote villages to protect them from decay. The museum is so extensive that wandering through it feels like stepping back into 19th century countryside Poland. Its scale and authenticity make it one of Europe's most important collections of wooden architecture, offering a vivid glimpse into the country's regional traditions and craftsmanship. A prehistoric flint mine, older than the pyramids. In the region of Przemyonki lies one of the world's most remarkable prehistoric mining complexes, where people extracted striped flint thousands of years before the Egyptian pyramids were built. These ancient miners carved an extensive network of underground tunnels using only stone and bone tools, creating passageways that sometimes drop dozens of feet below the surface. Flint they sought was prized for making durable axes and tools, and it was traded across what is now Central Europe. Archaeologists have found entire workshops, storage pits, and mining shafts preserved in exceptional condition. Walking through the site today reveals how advanced these early communities were, organizing labor and engineering solutions long before written history. It remains a rare window into Europe's Neolithic craftsmanship and early economic networks. The river island that changes shape every year. In northern Poland, the Vistula River surrounds a shifting island that constantly rewrites its own outline. Known for its unstable sandbanks and strong seasonal currents, the island grows, shrinks, and even moves depending on water level, wind patterns, and sediment flow. During spring melts, the river rushes with such force that entire sections of the shoreline can vanish, while new stretches of land appear downstream weeks later. Birds, especially terns and gulls, quickly adapt by relocating their nests to the freshest patches of sand. For scientists, the island is a natural laboratory showing how dynamic a large European river can be. For visitors, it offers a rare chance to watch a landscape in motion, an ever-changing piece of Poland that never looks the same twice. The cave that stays frozen all year. Deep in the Tatra Mountains lies the Mroźna-style ice cave, a natural chamber that keeps its icy interior even during the warmest summer months. The cave's cold microclimate is created by a clever combination of narrow entrances, trapped cold air, and shaded rock formations that prevent sunlight from warming its interior. Inside, visitors find glittering ice sheets, frozen stalagmites, and frosty walls that resemble a miniature polar world. Temperatures often hover just below freezing, creating a surreal contrast when tourists step in from the sunny mountain trails outside. Scientists monitor the cave closely, as its year-round ice offers valuable clues about historical climate patterns. This frozen pocket beneath the Tatras feels like a hidden winter sanctuary, proving how dramatically nature can preserve cold in the heart of Europe. The whistling sand dunes of the Baltic coast. Along Poland's Baltic shoreline, near the Slavinsky National Park, lie shifting sand dunes that produce a strange whistling or humming sound when strong winds sweep across them. These dunes are part of one of Europe's largest moving dune systems, with some sandy hills drifting several feet each year as the coastal winds reshape the landscape. The unique sound occurs when dry grains of sand rub and vibrate against each other, creating an eerie, almost musical tone that visitors often describe as otherworldly. Dunes themselves rise high above the surrounding forests, offering views that resemble a miniature desert perched beside the sea. This rare combination of movement, sound, and coastal scenery makes the area one of Poland's most surreal natural wonders. The lake with floating islands of peat. Poland's Węgrzech and Wigry regions contain lakes where rare floating islands drift slowly across the water's surface. These islands form when thick mats of peat, made of partially decomposed plants, break free from the lake bed and rise due to trapped gases and natural buoyancy. Some of the floating patches are small enough to rock gently when touched, while others are large enough to support shrubs, grasses, and even small trees. Because the islands move with wind and currents, their position can change from day to day, giving the lakes a constantly shifting appearance. Local wildlife uses them as nesting platforms, and scientists study them to understand how wetlands evolve over time. These drifting peat islands create an unusual, almost mystical environment rarely found elsewhere in Europe. And that wraps up 21 facts you'd never expect from Poland. If you enjoyed the journey, hit that like button and leave a comment with your favorite discovery. Subscribe for more strange, beautiful places from around the world. Until next time, keep exploring.